Okay, sorry. If it looks like I've just been crying, it's because I finished the toll before my wrap up, which was just a bad idea. Try that again. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today I'm doing my very short but promised November wrap up. I was actually pretty surprised at how few books I read in November, as I felt like I've just been constantly reading and reading a lot, but when it came down to it and I checked my Goodreads, apparently I didn't get much done. So this may be a benefit to you, as you will only be here for a short time, but if you were hoping for a larger wrap-up, my December wrap-up, I am also filming today, so you'll get to see exactly why I was crying for the toll, without any spoilers, of course, and that video will be coming out very soon. How is there not another book? I'm looking at this list. It's 3 books. Hold on. I'm just gonna triple check. Like, what was I doing? Okay, I was able to add one more. We're adding Pumpkinheads to the list because I don't actually know when I read that and I didn't put a date. In the month of November, I read a total of 4 books. I thought it was 3, but it turns out I read a graphic novel and I'm definitely counting that, so it's a little bit more well-rounded. I was really afraid for the length of this video. The first book I'm going to talk about was definitely my least favorite of a while, and that book ended up being Serpent and Dove by Shelby Murin. The thing is I really want to like Serpent and Dove, and I was pretty sure I would. We ended up reading Serpent and Dove for Rachel Marie Book Journey's Royally Booked Club book of the month. We have a live show where we talk about it. Most of us were on the same page. It's a really good conversation. You have an absolutely fabulous rant by Rhiannon at Crescent Moon Reads, and I felt like they were echoing many of my thoughts. So if you'd like an in-depth look at why I didn't care for this book, go ahead and check out that video and you'll get a more in-depth discussion. For now, what I will say about Serpent and Dove is that it was trying really hard to compare 2 very different belief systems, one being a systematic belief system in Christianity and a very extreme version at that, and a very fantastical witchcraft, which I would say was not closely related to actual witchcraft, but instead this author's interpretation of witchcraft. I felt that both sides were pretty poorly researched, and in the end, the story and the characters felt so dull to me that I just had trouble continuing. In fact, I didn't even finish the book before the live show. I still had a couple of the chapters left, and then I asked them to simply spoil it for me, and I read through the rest of it so that I could simply put this book to peace and not pick it up again. That's why you are looking at a digital copy, as I do no longer own the book. In the bitter end, after finishing the book and looking at its pieces that I did care for and didn't care for, I ended up giving Serpent and Dove 2 out of 5 stars. The reason why it has a 2-star rating is because essentially I think you have to put forward no effort in order to give me a 1-star book. I think if there is effort and character development and anything unique to a story, I can give it a star simply for existing and for doing its job for somebody out there. I know Madison at Princess of Paperback absolutely loves this story, and she got something out of it that I did not. So for the people out there that this does something for, I have to give it a star because I can see where they got some of their enjoyment. It was just not enjoyable to me. The second star being for the main character, Lou. Honestly, she lives in one of the worst worlds I've ever read, and her character was definitely a product of that world. However, I found that the way she acted seemed pretty realistic to someone who was trying to rebel away from this, and in some circumstances she made me laugh, and I'm just giving her a star for sticking with this world even after I leave it. Now we're doing a huge jump from lower rated books. The last 3 books on my list I absolutely adored. I have Pumpkinheads. This is by Rainbow Rowell, and I actually have never read a Rainbow Rowell book, so this was my first, and I know that this is not a stereotypical first for people, as she has written so many books. I did decide to go with her graphic novel, and I absolutely adored it. Pumpkinheads follows 2 teenagers on their last season working at a pumpkin patch. I can't actually describe how clever this is without spoiling anything. I'll just say this is a feel-good graphic novel that has plenty of wit and sweet moments. I feel that the characters were well-rounded and I enjoyed their banter the entire time through. While I am a seasonal reader and I can't imagine picking this up in another season besides fall, if you are feeling like you just need something to pick you up and feel good, I feel like this is one of those types of books. I would highly recommend it. By the time I got to the end, I just had nothing to complain about. It just made me feel good. good. So I gave Pumpkinheads a 5 out of 5 stars. I have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, this was a huge deal to me that I was picking up this book, as I had heard so many polarizing things, and I adored The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo so much that I really did fear disliking this book just simply for its difference, and that ended up not being the case whatsoever. Daisy Jones and the Six is a completely different format and a completely different story. The vibe and the feeling of this book is so grungy 1970s rock star that I actually didn't have Evelyn Hugo in my mind. What did definitely stand out to me was the fact that Taylor Jenkins Reid can make me truly feel like people are alive. She can make me miss them or hate them or provoke some sort of emotion out of me that usually is only reserved for people who actually exist. So yes, this story does follow Daisy Jones being the lead singer of a rock band, but the rock band itself and all the different characters in it were all very interesting, intense, and you really get to know their characters. I did not feel like any character was really left behind, and I was interested in each one and the perspective or voice that they added to this story. And this book is definitely a trigger warning for drug and alcohol addiction, as well as drug and alcohol use. There are relapses, there are really hard moments here. Something that Daisy Jones and the Six does do differently from Evelyn Hugo is that this is more of a documentary style read. So you're reading this as if you're watching a documentary of interviews with all the different band members and getting their different time pieces together. So if you are huge into documentaries or period pieces, definitely fictional period pieces, then I think this would be a book for you, as Evelyn Hugo is a memoir and those art forms are so vastly different that I can understand why people were polarized when picking this up, as it's a completely different medium that Taylor Jenkins Reid is playing with. I ended up giving Daisy Jones and the Six a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was a really good book. I am more favorable towards memoir than documentaries, but this was a lot of fun, also really sad, and I was interested in the characters. I just wasn't in love with the characters, which is what brought it down a half-star rating, is I didn't feel that spark. I didn't feel like I needed to scream about this book. I just admired it, enjoyed it, and I'm moving on. Something you will definitely get tired of me talking about on this channel is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the Alcrate exclusive edition. I absolutely love it. If you didn't watch my unboxing of this book, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm about to spoil it a little for you, but I will put it up above if you decide to give it a watch. But the inside of this cover is just amazing. This is Maggie Stiefvater's work, and I was just really impressed by it, but more impressed by the book itself. Call Down the Hawk is a sequel series to the Raven Cycle series, which I do have on my shelves right here. I am a huge fan of the Raven Cycle series, and my favorite character in that book is Ronan. Ronan Lynch is the main character of this series, and he honestly just got better. I didn't think that I wanted Ronan to have more flaws than he already obviously does, but getting to see him work through these flaws in a really focused way was absolutely phenomenal, and it was all I could have asked for. If you are huge fans of the romance aspect in Ronan's life, I will say there are wonderful, sweet moments in this book. I did talk at great lengths about this with Olivia at Olivia's Catastrophe, and she had mentioned that she had wanted more of these moments, so I keep that in mind, but they were enough for me to give me a taste of what this series will be giving us, and I just want so much more. I'll put a timestamp right here if you'd like to skip my summary of Call Down the Hawk, as it will have spoilers for the original series. If not, stay tuned. I know you're probably wondering, well, what is the plot to this book? And I honestly don't know exactly where it's going, except for that it follows Ronan Lynch, who is a dreamer. It takes place while Gansey, Blue, and Henry have all decided to go on a round-the-world trip. Ronan is at his home, and he has decided he would like to leave it to try and live closer to Adam. However, there are several different things that are blocking his path from being able to do that, and he's found something horrible is happening with his dreams. This does follow more than just Ronan's perspective. We are introduced to new characters who are also having trouble with their dreams, and you get to find out a larger picture of dreamers in general, as well as the dangers that lurk around dreamers and why there are not many dreamers to begin with. If you're looking for an incredibly strong plot, you're not going to find it in this book. You're going to find more questions, and you're going to feel as if Maggie is experimenting with your emotions as you go on this roller coaster ride. Sometimes I was laughing, sometimes I was crying. The entire time I didn't want it to stop, and once I got to the end, I was really frustrated that I did not have the second in the series. I wish that I was better at waiting, but this book just did not allow for it, and I consumed it in about a day and a half. So yes, I did of course give Call Down the Hawk a 5 out of 5 stars. This is one of my new favorite books. It does go on my favorite shelf, which I will be doing a video on soon, so you have a better idea of who I am through some books. And with that, that is my entire wrap up. I don't know what I was doing in November. All I know is that it's done and we're in December now. I do have my December wrap up. It is much longer. It does have 2/3 of this entire Scythedom trilogy within it, and I just have so much to unpack in December that I'm actually kind of relieved that this is being wrapped up now and I can just move on and read more books. Right now, I'm actually not reading anything, and I will have a vlog that hopefully is already up. I planned on putting it out first. Actually, I'm gonna try and put this out today, so never mind. Ignore that. There's no vlog here. But there will be soon. I am making a vlog about my Yule experience and winter solstice and how I celebrate. It's sort of ready, but I haven't actually started reading anything yet, so we'll see what Jade of the Future does. For now, I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are, and until next time, bye! I just ramble. You don't need to know. It's fine. I realized that I just put these books out of order, but since this is such a short list, you guys are gonna be fine. I'm sure you can swap. I absolutely hate this sticker, but it's not real. Like, who's Reese? Reese's Book Club. Who are they? Who is Reese? Why are you on my book? Come on, you got this. Yes. That you know where to skip to, or you can just leave this video. Either way is not fine. It'll hurt my feelings. Move on in my journey through books. That sounded real cheesy. Am I dying? What's happening? And until next time, bye! Why'd I do 2 hands? Let's try that again.